but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome to the Queen City in Charlotte, North Carolina for the season finale of the Svenska eRacingligan Cup Series. The Nyman 600 getting ready to fire off here in a couple moments. And you got Tony Trapasso and Corey Budinot up in the booth with you tonight. And Corey, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for this one.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a good one. It's a championship battle here. They're at the home of NASCAR, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And something a little bit different, it's the Championship 5. We normally see the Championship 4, but tonight, those who did make the cut, Michael Hafliedesen, Jesper Eriksson, Linus Broström, Eric Blixt, and Jonas Gunnarsson are going to be the 5 to keep an eye on throughout the night. Dan Homer just missing the cut by one. As of last week, it was 1 point. Robert Eriksson not able to join Jesper. He's unfortunately sitting down in 7th. Dan Solo, Alexander Arildson, and Oscar Fredrickson rounding out your top 10 as we get ready to do 600 miles. Oh, humanity. This is my first of the 600-mile races I'm going to have to call here at Charlotte. As I believe I've got another one, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. Memorial weekend we'll be doing the SNN 600. But Corey, I mean, let's get right down to it. 600 miles, and they've only got 6 sets of tires to get it done.
Now, hold on. Let me correct you here. We're only going 375 miles. It's 250 laps around here, but yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit. That makes me feel a little better. Even if it is just ever so slightly. Taking a quick look at our weather conditions coming into tonight. 25-degree track temperature, 49% water grain in the air, which means this engine's going to make it some pretty good horsepower. Wind, not overly windy, but that 10-kilometer-an-hour wind is definitely starting to kick up a little bit. And track temperature only 26 degrees Celsius. And Corey, if you could let us know what that works out to in freedom units.
That would be, you say the outside temp, 76.
Okay, so the 76, that's 25 degrees Celsius. As I think I figured out why the United States has never gone to the metric system. What's the metric equivalent to a buttload?
I have no idea.
I rest my case. But yeah, I mean that wind. What's the wind looking like in freedom units?
It is currently blowing at 5 to 4 mile an hour northwest.
Well, that's not too bad then, as long as it doesn't gust. But again, the practice session getting ready to wind on down here. Thank you so much for making this part of your Thursday evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you're watching this in the world and if you're watching it live. Let us know who you're pulling for in the live chat over on the YouTube side of things, as we would love to highlight your favorite driver as this night wears on. Just taking a quick peek here, it looks like we've got 22 cars scheduled to start it here tonight. So with only 22 signing up, we are going to be skipping the heat race portion that we normally get with these events. As we do click on over to the qualifying, let us take a look to see who's going to be the first one to roll it. Well, big shocker here, as that is the Volvo of Eric Blix firing off the pit road. Vilda Whalen also out in her Chevy. Oscar Fredrickson in another one of the Chevys for Forza Esports. He was having problems with it. Jesper Eriksson, one of his teammates. Andre Salander for Alcantech. Eric Lundberg already out on track at bright number 18, as he now takes the flag. Bjorn Brostrom is here tonight. Jonas Gunnarsson here. Kenneth Tier for Bright Esports. Jonas Fors, the chief principal of Fors Esports. There he is out on track. Looks like Jesper Eriksson is going to be the first one of the first ones. Nope, Eric Blix is going to be the first one to lay a time. 30.46, and immediately gets bumped off by the 29 of Whalen. That was a shot that Vilda Whalen just laid down, Corey.
Absolutely. So far, 1/10 quicker than the rest of the field. We'll see what they can do on lap number 2 after they get the heat in the tire. See if Eric can improve off that 46. And he does. A 2-3-1 for Eric Blix.
Still not good enough to knock Whalen off the top step of the podium. Huckaduet in the 101 out on track right now as well.
Jonas Gunnarsson setting quick time.
Nice.
30.133.
Nice lap for Jonas. As here comes Robert Earling. And you know he's got to be driving angry that he got bumped from the Championship 5. And just like that, he jumps up to second quick. Hell hath no fury like a Swedish man scorned. Or something like that.
I'm not going to question that.
Michael Haflidason in the only Audi in the field tonight. Goes 12th quick on his first lap. Let's see what the second lap is going to do for the Audi driver.
Coming out of turn number 4 for Haflidason. And he is gonna make an improvement. He'll hit a 30.222. That will move him all the way up to 4th.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Jonas Skoglund looking to improve on his lap. He's going to improve on time. Is he going to improve position? Yes, up to 11th quick. Dan Solo out on track right now in that Volvo. Linus Broström, this is going to be the last race he's going to be with Forza Esports, as he is moving over to enemy territory for next season. And making one of his rare appearances this year, Marcus Hagman. We didn't see Marcus throughout the first half of the season. Here he is tonight, currently sitting 18th quick. Solo's first lap's going to put him 11th quick. Linus Broström, his first lap getting ready to be done and dusted. Folks are probably noticing that the shadows are pretty long here, and here we go.
Linus is 18th after his first lap. See if he can improve here on lap number 2. One of the last couple of cars to take a time.
Dan Solo and Marcus Hagman starting kind of deep in this one, about mid-pack. Solo goes 10th quick. Hagman goes 13th quick. Broström up to 3rd quick. Nicely done, sir. And that should about do it for qualifying. Only a couple seconds left. You're not out on track already. You're not laying the time. But,
everybody hit a lap time. It goes from 31.33 for the pole for Jonas Gunnarsson all the way to 22nd, hitting a 31.074. So about a second difference from pole to last.
Absolutely. As we're going to take a quick look at tonight's starting grid, Jonas Gunnarsson, 30.133, 61 thousandths to the good over Robert Earling. Linus Broström and Vilda Whalen going to roll it from row number 2. Row 3 is going to see Michael Haflidason and Philip Bjork.
I'll call you to clock out.
And Philip Bjork, Eric Blixt, and Jasper Eriksson rounding out your first 4 rows, and running out the top half of the field, Oscar Fredrickson and Bjorn Broström.
You have Daniel Solo, Marcus Hagman, Kenneth Tier, Daniel Holmberg, Jonas Skoglund back in 15th, Eric Lundberg 16th, Peter Helmbro back in 17th, Haflidi Johansson back in 18th, Amelie Fagrell back in 19th, Andre Salander gonna round out 20th, and then you have Jonas Fors and Hoxton Shot, or whatever it is.
Hooking away.
Who can win? Huh? Okay.
And that is going to do it for the 21 cars that we have here tonight. Again, be sure to let us know who you're riding with tonight, who you're pulling for. Not only for the race, but your Championship 5. As Michael Haflidason, Jasper Eriksson, Linus Broström, Eric Blix, and Jonas Gunnarsson are the 5 cars that will be turning and burning here tonight from Charlotte. So 250 laps of scheduled distance. And, you know, Corey, I know we got 5 total sets to get it done, but that still has me mildly concerned.
Well, I mean, that's 50 laps per set of tires that they can use up. I don't know. I wouldn't be that concerned. That seems about to be a good average. This track doesn't really wear the tires out as much as it used to with the older Cup cars. With these newer Cup cars, it kind of saves them.
It does, but again, I'm still a little concerned as taking a quick look at the weather again. A little after 4 p.m. in sim time, so we're going to finish under the lights, that's for darn sure. Track temperature, ambient air temperature holding solid, same as the water grain in the air. Partly cloudy skies, so we're getting ready to turn them loose here for 250 laps at the Queen City Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gunnarsson going to have the button. Geico restart zone is in effect. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some of that pulled pork barbecue because it's time to get it on in the Cadillacs. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag comes out, and just like that, we are on our way. Gunnarsson, Brostrom, and the 81 of Eflidesen really making it work as, unfortunately, the 82 of Earling got shuffled out there as he did not get the getaway he was hoping for, but we've got a Volvo, an Audi, and 2 Chevys in the top 5 right now.
Yes, we do. You see Jonas Gunnarsson. He's going to be leading this field. He'll officially be scored your leader on lap number 1. Nice.
Nicely done. Is we've got some battling going on back here, right around just inside the top 10. That's Oscar Fredrickson, Jesper Eriksson, Dan Solo, Vilda Whalen, and Philip Bjork running stem to stern right there. And you got a couple car length separation back from Philip Bjork to Kenneth Tier.
There we go, battle for second, heating up here. You have Michael Heflidesen on the inside of Linus Brostrom. He'll officially take away that spot, going down to turn number 1.
Picking them up and laying them down early here tonight as we're already 3 laps into this piece. Gunnarsson, Heflidesen, Brostrom, and Blixt, your top 4.
So drivers just trying to figure out what lane they want to utilize and where they feel comfortable. Maybe some of them saving some tire here in the first little leg of this race. And not to mention, we will have a stage later on. It will be coming out at lap 90. So that plays into the factor of how you strategize this race.
Well, that means we're looking at 1 stop under green flag conditions. Andre Salander set fast lap of the race so far with a 30.35. That time is going to continue to drop and drop and drop as this race wears on, though. I can guarantee you that. Currently, your biggest mover is Salander in the 104. Currently plus 9. Biggest mover in the positive direction. Biggest mover in the negative direction, unfortunately, is the man that likes to run in the back in the early parts of these. Actually electing to pit start, Marcus Hagman currently runs in 22nd spot. As this battle just inside the top 10, or for the final couple of steps in the top 10. It's Eriksson, Bjork, Fredrickson, Salander, and Whalen all going after each other still. And I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not, considering how this league has handled racing throughout the rest of the season. Battle for third as Robert Erling and Eric Blixt throwing haymakers at each other.
Robert Erling officially being out there in third. He's now pulling away a little bit from Eric Blixt, but the big battle is still back here around the 11th spot. Oscar Fredrickson under pressure from Jonas Skuglin. He backed off there down the back chute, trying to get the run down in turn number 3. And, he's being patient about it. That's the key. It's a long race. If you want to be there at the end, you want to win, you don't want a junk car.
You absolutely hit the nail on the head there, Corey. And, I'm going to quote Richard Petty, who said one time, actually, it was Lee Petty who said it to Richard. Richard was having a fast car. It's just he couldn't get it to last the whole race. And Lee told him, son, I know you're fast, but just remember this. In order to finish first you must finish. And Richard taught that to his kids, too. And it still holds true in motorsports today, or actually all sports today. You've got to finish if you have any chance of trying to go for the win.
Absolutely. You see the battle now for second. Robert Earling, he's looking underneath of Michael Hifledeson. Can he get this pass done? He does. Pulls the slider out of turn number 4.
Who would think of it? The dirt tracking on a mile and a half would be effective. Because we're working lap 10 of 250. As Earling back even with the board of where he started. As he's trying to reel down Jonas Gunnarsson, I can't help but think, is Gunnarsson going a little bit too hard in the early going here? I mean, he was out to a half a second to the good. But the problem with leading, and Corey, I'm sure you can attest to this, you don't have anybody to kind of judge your speed off of.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're out front like you are, like Jonas is right now, it's so hard to pick the right lifting points and getting back on the throttle points. You got to play the guesswork. And the one that's behind him, you can kind of follow in their air, and that air actually helps pull your car up to them, so you're even lifting earlier and saving those tires. You see Robert Earling, he'll close in on the back bumper of Jonas there, but the dirty air plays a factor as well if you're the car behind.
Think of it as if you're driving down the highway at legal speeds. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And you get behind a tractor trailer and you decide you want to see what drafting is like. The buffeting that goes on with these cars, even at the 1.5 and 2 mile tracks, let alone at a place like Daytona or Talladega, it's intense. It's completely intense.
Absolutely, and it can sometimes when you get right behind a car, it can either make it real loose or real tight, or it could be in the middle and it will shake that car vigorously and almost feel like you don't have any control over your steering.
And that can get very dangerous very quickly. And there is Dan Solo and his Volvo working the top shelf. As I believe that's Philip Bjork to his inside. Yes, it is. Bjork in the 044 has had some strong runs all season long. Just hasn't been able to really put it together in the closing laps, or has gotten caught up in someone else's dumpster fire. Which is why Bjork isn't contending for the championship right now. It was just bad luck kept him out of it. Checking back a little further, final spot in the top 10. Finds the 104 of Andre Salander as he's working on Jasper Eriksson. And here comes Linus Broström right behind him.
Yeah, you see that top side kind of coming in here. About 16 laps into this race. So that just tells me these drivers are confident enough that the cars are able to maneuver wherever they want them to. And they can hold the speed up top compared to the bottom.
And, it's kind of refreshing to see this sort of thing. As, we got the 3 different Alcantech teams being represented here tonight. I believe it might be 4. And Salander and Blix currently running stem to stone. or stem to stern, I should say. And the only real couple of interlopers in that front group from Alcantech, Robert Earling running for 4Z Sports, and Bill DeWhalen running for Team Gaia in 5th. And then you're just in a complete sea of humanity of Alcantech cars. Which, I believe, according to the team championship... Now, mind you, we are being sponsored tonight by Nyman Racing. And look who's at the top of the pile for the team championship. Alcantech NHR by Nyman Racing. 4Z Sports currently sitting second in the team standing. Alcantech NHR by Almatech in 3rd. 4Z Sports Academy in 4th. Bright Esports, finally a different one of the major teams. Bright Esports holding down the 5th spot. Good for them. And Team Superior sits in 6th currently. That's Superior Stray Dogs.
Look at this. Daniel Solo, he's out front here. He's made up 10 spots to get there. But the hard charger and 4 for running on the high side hill now move up to 17 spots gain. That's Andre Salander getting around Jonas Gunnarsson. Now he'll set his sights on second place, Robert Earling.
And before you even ask, no, I'm not going to attempt to say the name of his hometown because I would butcher it.
Oh, no.
So far, so good. 21 laps into this piece. And so far, all 22 cars that started are still running.
Marcus Hagman, who started from the pits, he's unfortunately 15 seconds back from the leader. That's about a half a track behind.
Unfortunately, but, you know, you take gambles like that. Marcus has had some bad experiences here in other leagues. And the last thing he wanted to do was get taken out turn 1, lap 1. So I don't blame him for pit starting this one tonight. That battle for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th really hot and heavy right now. As here comes Jonas Forrest to the inside of the 37 of Jesper Eriksson. Eriksson playing the long game tonight. You know, yes, Jesper, as I want to double check. Yes, Jesper is in the Championship 5. So he wants to make sure he has a car to use in the closing laps of this race. Not overdriving it, not really pushing the envelope in any way, shape, or form that, you know, could get that car in trouble. And he's in the rocking chair right now. He's got 4Z Sports in front of him and 4Z Sports behind him. And just as I say that, the Bright Esports entry of Peter Helmrow is about, Kenneth Tier is about to make a liar out of me.
Yeah, utilizing that outside lane. He's kind of got like a Dale Earnhardt looking paint on that 49 car for Kenneth Tier.
Mm-hmm. Looks like back when Nationwide was sponsoring Junior.
I think that's the concept of the paint, yeah.
I have to agree with you. I didn't notice that before, but you're absolutely right. Checking back up towards the front, Bill DeWhalen currently has gotten by Dan Solo. Robert Earling, Andre Salander, Bill DeWhalen have all gotten by Solo. Solo just got out there. It looks like Solo just used that first stint just to time his run and see how long it would take him to get to the front. And, you know, judging by what we saw, He definitely has the pace to do it. The question is he going to have the patience to do it in the closing laps?
Well, you got to remember Daniel Solo not in the championship hunt, so he's all out here to try to make up as many points as he possibly can. Maybe you can finish in the 6th position for the championship and maybe even pick up a win to finish out the season. So you can experiment with different lines and how he runs this race. And
that's exactly it. Anybody whose name is not highlighted in blue, blue is, now mind you, I did my best and I didn't get it right to try to make sure who was in blue was who your championship contenders were. But anyone that's not in blue, they're just here tonight looking to play spoiler or support their teammates who are in blue still.
And the highest running of the 5 going for a championship here, Jonas Gunnarsson riding in the 5th spot. But, you know, he has 2 of the competitors in 6th and 7th right behind him, Michael Haflitus and Eric Blix. So it's not going to be easy for any of the 5 going for the championship, going for the Drivers' Championship at Charlotte to take it home.
All Gunnarsson has to do, considering that Andre Salander, Andre was eliminated last week, but all Gunnarsson has to do is just finish in front of the other 4, and he's got the championship. I mean, it doesn't get much simpler than that.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that's as easy as it is. Finish ahead of your competitors that you're going for the championship. It don't matter if you are back in the last 5 spots as long as it's the 5 that you're going against. Of course, I'm sure Jonas would love nothing more than to take home the victory here later on, where you got 220 laps to go, so still a long distance here.
It absolutely is, and looks like we've got a battle for second starting to heat up a little bit here. And Salander in the 104 for Alcantara. Starting to feel a little bit of pressure from that 29 of Vilda Whalen.
Yeah, Vilda Whalen working on the high side down in turn number 3. Going to get to the outside of Andre Salander. Going to be door to door. Who's going to officially be scored in second? Give it to
Whalen at the
Vilda.
line.
Wow.
Yep. So she's up into second out of Stockholm. Now, Corey, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it or not. I'm sorry if I get everybody confused when I say this. Bucket list racing event. Stockholm Open.
No, never heard of it.
Really?
No.
It is a street race that takes place in one night in Stockholm, and there's some interesting car and power plant combinations that show up for that piece. And definitely, if you're a drag racing fan, like I just so happen to be, that Stockholm Open is definitely a bucket list event.
Definitely not familiar with it. I'm not much into the drag racing or the street racing scene of the racing world.
And that's okay, because it's mildly illegal. Like, if you get caught, it's illegal.
Unless you get caught.
Exactly. Other than that, hey, want to scatter your brains on a backcountry road? Go ahead. The cops will be happy to fill the paperwork out. You're next to Ken. Meanwhile, the battle between Whalen and Salander has not lightened up one bit here in the last couple of laps. This is your closest battle on track right now. As Salander, a little Chevy on Chevy crime. Matter of fact, bow ties make up your top 3 spots. Then you've got the Volvo of Dan Solo, the
Other Volvo.
the other Volvo of Jonas Gunnarsson, and the, I believe, Audi, yes it is, Audi of Michael Haflidason. I love this league and its creativity.
You're gonna love to see different manufacturers pop up in on the American side, American sport.
However, there was one league that I used to broadcast, and Dave Regal and I always used to joke that we could smell toast and, lose feeling in our extremities every time we had to say these words. The GM Goodwrench number 3 Ford Mustang.
That ain't that far, though. That ain't that bad. Come on. You be nice.
I felt like I was having a stroke every time I said those words.
Look at this battle for 4th heating up. Jonas Gunnarsson on the inside. Daniel Solo. Solo washes up the track. Has to get out of the throttle, not to hit the wall. He'll lose a couple of spots, actually. Michael Haflidason going around him. And Eric Blix, he'll fall in right behind down the back chute.
Well, that does answer the question I was going to ask earlier. Was Solo going too hard to try to get to the front of this piece? The answer, unfortunately, is a resounding yes from the looks of it. As a matter of fact, slowest of the top 5 last time by.
Slowest on the track at that, for the most part, yes. Definitely slowest on the track, 31.96.
He's completely burned the tires off early as we're working lap 41 of 250. And you said we got a stage caution on 70?
90.
90.
But 85% fuel in these cars. I'm calculating maybe 55 laps on a tank of gas. We aren't too far away from possibly seeing green flag pit stops.
I would say sometime within the next 5 laps.
I would say if you're going to pull a strategy, you might do half and half here. Is I'm seeing a lot of drivers saying they are going to start pitting in. We do have our first taker. That's going to be Jonas Skuglin.
Jonas, the first one to flinch. There he is in that plain, well, rocking the bright esports dark scheme tonight. Getting back up towards the front. Robert Earling, a half a second to the good over Bill Whalen. He sits in second. Jonas Gunnarsson currently sits in third and is leading the championship. Michael Haflidason back in fourth. Eric Blix currently running out your top 5, but he's got to be careful. He's got a hard charge on Andre Salander behind him, and here comes Linus Brostrom as well.
Brostrom started this race up in third, just trying to make a recovery before pit stops start occurring for a lot of these drivers up at the front. And Linus will get around Andre Salander there. I know turn number 4.
Salander is still your biggest mover in the positive direction at plus 13 back in 7th. And now that he's a little bit closer to the front, if he can stay with some of these guys on the pit stop that is looming imminent, within the next handful of laps, we should see more and more takers bringing them down pit side. And, at first I thought that Jonas Skoglund might have gone too soon, as Jonas Forrest coming down pit for 4 tires in service. But the more I think about it, Skoglund is doing it right, using the right idea, because he's going to have a huge undercut on some of these guys, considering that, we're 46 laps into this piece, and we're already looking at a second to a second and a half worth of fall off on the tires.
Absolutely. Probably a good strategy. We'll see where he can fall out after all the pit cycle is done. You got to imagine, though, these front runners, when do they peel in to go get their gas and their tires? Do they come in at lap 50, or do they stretch it as far as possible and only have to run 40 or so laps to the stage?
Well, we're already past the halfway mark of the stage. So I would run this tank bingo, so I would know in the closing laps just how far I could possibly take it go fast.
Yeah, that would be my strategy as well, is to just stretch it all the way as far as you can possibly go. And then after your lap 90 caution, when you come in for fuel and tires there, you know what laps you need to start pitting on.
Yeah, because now, granted, most of these guys and gals are using, external iRacing apps. So I believe there's one called Crew Chief app, that it has a more accurate fuel calculator than anything iRacing has in the black box menu. But you're still there's always that margin of error. And speaking of margin of error, Salander and Helmbro now going after each other. And they are putting a lot of faith in netcode, in my opinion.
So Salander definitely falling off, used up those tires early in the run here. But he's still hanging on, up 13 spots when he's ahead of Helmbro, up 12 when he's behind Helmbro, and a little bit tight right there. So definitely used up tires. And look at this, one of the first front runners come in. That'll be Vilda Whalen.
Yeah. Vilda looks like 50 laps. You almost hit the nail perfectly on the head, but right now Vilda is the only one coming down pit road, as there is the slugfest for 8th between Jesper Eriksson and Dan Solo. And right in front of them, that's Salander and Eriksson that still have not given up on each other. Solo coming into the pits. Robert Ehrling now shows the way. Jonas Gunnarsson to his outside, going into 1 and 2.
Now, when you're out front here right before a pit cycle, I don't really like being the leader, because you don't know when the guy behind you is wanting to dip in and go for his pit stop. Well, I like to be the guy in second right on the back bumper.
Well, the good news is for Jonas Gunnarsson, he's in that gaggle of 4 cars at the front of this deal with 3 other Alcantech cars. So the guy that's really going to have to drop back and get this well spotted is the 82 of Erling, because he's the only Forza Esports car. Well, here comes Linus Broström. So Erling and Broström, the only 2 Forza Esports cars in the top 5. They still have a dancing partner, but the numbers are going to favor the Team Alcantech group. As you see, it's an Audi in front of him and a Volvo behind him, as we're still watching with Erling. Meanwhile, Andre Salander, Peter Helmbro have all come down pit side. Jonas Skoglund, Vilda Whalen, Jonas Forrest, Daniel Solo, and Eric Lundberg came down. Yeah, Lundberg was actually one of the first ones to come pit side on lap 49. So, and generally that freight train that you start to see is the tattletale, as Jesper Eriksson brings the 37 pit side. Generally, when they get into single file formation, especially towards the bottom, that's usually the tattletale. And right now, we're not seeing anybody really tip their hand yet.
Yeah, your top 5 still on the track. Not quite slowing down yet for any pit stops for these drivers.
And you would expect nothing less, but just past the quarter mark of this race, or sorry, a fifth of the way through, anyways. Jonas Gunnarsson leads, Michael Hepfliedison, Robert Ehrling, Eric Blix, Linus Brostrom, Oscar Fredrickson, Kenneth Tier, Daniel Homer, Emily Fagrell, and Håkan Wett rounding out your top 10 as we currently sit. Wett and Fagrell, your two biggest movers currently in the positive direction at plus 10 and plus 12 respectively. As Emily's fiance, Linus Brostrom, starts to apply a little bit of pressure to Eric Blix now.
Top 5 still all single file. And you look at this early dip to the apron for Robert Ehrling. That might hurt his pit stop. As you see, 2 of his competitors ahead. They're going for the late break. Jonas Gunnarsson now down pit road with Eric Blix as well. So 3 of your top 5 coming in on lap 57. It'll take over to 58 when they cross the line, though.
As Michael Hepfliedison, Linus Brostrom, Oscar Fredrickson, Ken Tier, Daniel Homer, and Håkan Wett all electing to stay out. Hepfliede Johansson and Bjorn Brostrom also stay out. Jonas Gunnarsson, Robert Ehrling, and Eric Blix just came pit side that time. Oh, hang on to her.
Wow, a little bit of a sideways moment for Hepfliedison coming into the pit road, downshifting, and it kicked the RPM up and almost went around. That could have been disastrous for Michael.
Yeah, until the Quattro kicked in. See what I did there, considering he's driving an Audi.
I don't even understand.
Audi's all-wheel drive system is known as Quattro. Linus Brostrom going to pit from the lead. Can he get to the stripe before Kenneth Tier does?
Kenneth is coming in as well. And here comes Yekin Scott. But Bjorn Brostrom, he'll stay out and get a lap lead.
So
everybody came in.
With only Bjorn Brostrom left, well, you know what? Let's watch this and see what's going to happen as Linus Brostrom down and away. Fuel only stop for Linus.
Maybe right side tires, 9-second stop for Linus Brostrom. I mean, 30 laps. Can he hang on?
The answer is a definite maybe.
It's going to be a tall order to hang on. He's got his competition right up on him already. Vilda Wallen, Jonas Skuglin, all right behind, right there at the line. Oh my.
It's a double-edged sword that Linus is playing with, considering that everybody else who did a green flag pit stop there, as Bjorn Brostrom finally coming down pit side, everybody else took foreign fuel, except for Linus. But we've seen him pull a rabbit out of his hat numerous times this season already. Let's see if this one's actually going to pay off.
I'm just not sold on this strategy of right side tires and fuel for Linus. He's going to drop back a whole lot with those 4 tires. 60 laps, almost like 60 laps on those tires, 59 officially. So,
well, who says that he took rights? He may have taken lefts.
Okay,
because if the car was starting to get stupid loose, you know, lefts will tighten the car up. Rights will loosen the car up. So
I can't imagine he would take lefts, but you never know.
Yeah. I used to run in a fun league that they told us anytime you come down pit road, you have to put at least two tires on the car. So the entirety of the short, like we did 100 laps at Daytona that year. And every time that I came in for fuel, I put left side tires on. Because the tire wear in the Cup car is negligible. Brostrom, though, has dropped to 10th. Meanwhile, up in front, that's Daniel Solo showing the way as they work their way around Bjorn Brostrom, who just went a lap down. So Daniel Solo, Vilda Whalen, Jonas Gunnarsson, Jesper Eriksson, Jonas Skoglund, Jonas Forst, Peter Helmbro, Michael Haflidason, Andre Salander, and Linus Brostrom rounding out your top 10. And with that, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back right after this. And we are back at Charlotte for the season finale for the Svenska eRacingligan Cup Series. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Thursday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. This is the Nyman Racing 600 Grand Finale at Charlotte. And don't look now, but Gunnarsson and Solo, both of them beating up on Vilda Whalen at the front of this piece. But the three of them, even with Solo and Whalen running side by side, they're still pulling a decent gap on that man in fourth. Is he's got Michael Haflidason all over him. That's Jesper Eriksson in the Mobby Force Esports number 37.
Yeah, not a whole lot of time left before we hit that all-important stage break. 20 to go. So we see the guaranteed yellow.
Absolutely.
Oh my, about had a yellow there between Jesper Eriksson and Michael Haflidason. Haflidason had to hit a little bit of the turf, a little bit of the apron there.
They were trying to wreck, but the skill level in this race is just amazing. As a matter of fact, let me pull up a couple of numbers for you, Corey. Wow.
Oh my.
The average I rating in the top 5 is right around 35,000.
Well, I can already tell you 2 of them in the top 5 are higher off than me.
They got me beat.
Definitely maybe a little bit more talent out here on the track than I would have, especially considering I don't really run that much asphalt NASCAR anymore.
Yep. But, you look at the numbers of the I ratings. this is top split. You know, these guys and gals, just about everybody in this field has been top split on an NIS official race at some point.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. If not a top split, a good high SOF for a second split or a third split.
Right. As everybody up at the front has gotten single filed out, Jesper Eriksson starting to lose ground to those 3 Alcantech and 1 Team Gaia car in front of him. Your next closest battle on track is going to be back here between Jonas Fors and Oscar Fredriksson, as you know, the 2 Forza Esports cars going after each other, make that 3 Forza Esports cars going after each other. Robert Ehrling there as well. And I know for a fact that team has but one simple rule, and that is try not to kill each other. But if you are going to kill each other on track, make sure it's a Sports Center highlight for the next year.
Oh, boy. You know, I always say if you're going to wreck each other as a teammate, make sure you take out other victims in the same wreck.
Fair enough. Slanja, to your health.
Closing in here on that stage. Caution, Michael Haflidason has ran down your race leader, Jonas Gunnarsson. I can't imagine he's going to fight too hard and one fellow teammate. But, you know, both of them are going for a championship later tonight. Not that the stage matters for any of your 5 championship drivers. It's all about bragging rights, being the leader at the stage break.
That, you know, when it first came out, that green and white checkered flag was a novelty, and now drivers are actually cherishing that flag as if it were the end of the race flag. And, you know, just being a stage winner, the prestige of that is so much higher than it ever used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And under normal circumstances, it would award you some points and playoff points. But if you're in the top 5 championship drivers here, it don't really matter. They ain't handing out any points or stage points to you. You just get to be further up on the racetrack when you come down pit road.
That's exactly it, because there is no tomorrow. Gunnarsson and Haflidason starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Vilda Whalen, as Jesper Eriksson is taking the low side against Daniel Solo through 1 and 2. And he throws the slider coming off the corner. Another coat of paint on either one of those cars, they would have been in trouble. As battle for the lead now, door to door, coming to 10 to go in the stage.
Fleetison, your new race leader. That kind of allows Vilda Whalen to close in on those 2 drivers. Got to wonder if she is going to try to take them over.
And you know, I got to commend the creativity in this league. You know, we touched on that earlier with our discussion, Corey. And, you know, there are rumors that when NASCAR finally does bring out and roll out the hybrid rules, there are currently 3 manufacturers that are looking to possibly have cars ready for that. What's your take and what's your pick on who those 3 manufacturers are, Corey?
I want to say Honda.
I could see that.
Maybe. What are there? We've got Honda. I'm trying to think here. Maybe Dodge can come back.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Lexus might come into the play.
Well, you know, the thing is, I don't know if Toyota would bring Lexus in, considering that, you know, it would kind of undermine the Toyota that's already in there. I was thinking Nissan might, because they
Nissan.
They have a full-size truck, so they've got a vehicle already ready for the truck series. You know, and then whatever they choose to roll out for their Cup car and Xfinity car, It'd be something to see a GTR actually gracing the NASCAR circuits.
I definitely can see a Honda coming in. I've always thought Honda would have been already in, but that's besides the point.
Honda refuses to make a full-size truck.
Yeah, well, they can stretch the body. All it is sheet metal with decals on it.
Well, we'll see what happens here in the next couple of years. But I gotta say you're probably right on the Dodge portion of it, and I can pretty much guarantee who the first team to log on to that's going to be, and that's because they already have a Dodge sponsorship of their drag racing cars.
Haas ain't gonna go to Dodge.
No, but Tony Stewart might.
Not gonna happen. Your first Dodge team is gonna be like Legacy Motor Club.
That's the Petty Johnson conglomerate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. They're already in trouble from what I heard.
Well, they're going to Toyota next year, so.
That's what it was.
Look at this battle once again for the race lead. Fleetison on the outside. You see Jonas Gunnarsson. He'll take over the race lead down turn number 3. Maybe Fleetison kind of lifted for Jonas to get on by.
Good possibility.
Or to go to that stage yellow.
I mean, it doesn't really matter which one of these two guys finishes, with the stage win, considering that they're both running for overall championship. But working together like they have pulled a major gap on Jesper Eriksson.
They only have one car to put a lap down in front of them. That would be Haflidy Johansson if he were to fall into the clutches of these two drivers. If not, Bjorn Brostrom looking for that lucky dog. He's thinking, please don't lap any more cars.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bjorn, he had some trouble on that green flag pit stop from the looks of it. Not sure exactly what happened. Oh, it's because he stayed out so long. He stayed out 10 laps longer than the groups that came down earlier, and the undercut really just cut him apart.
See, Jonas and Michael, they made short work of putting Haflidy one lap down, so unfortunate break for Bjorn Brostrom. Not going to be eligible for the lucky dog unless something drastic happens here to Haflidy and he gets an incident point when they call that yellow flag.
Well, white flag is in the air for the stage caution. Right now, Gunnarsson, let's pull this up. Gunnarsson, Haflidason, Eriksson, Blixt, Whalen, Solo, Helmbro, Salander, Fredrickson, and Ehrling rounding out your top 10 as we currently sit, and a lot of breathing room at the tail end of that top 10. As you're over 4.5 seconds between Robert Ehrling and 11th place Kenneth Stier. But coincidentally, Robert Ehrling is also another 4.5 seconds himself, back off of Oscar Fredrickson in 9th.
Should be seeing that yellow flag. There it is. We got Robert Ehrling across the line in 10th, and they have thrown the yellow flag. We'll slow them up.
We will slow them up, and with that, we will step away and pay a couple more bills, and we'll be back right after this.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
And we are back at Charlotte for the Svenska eRacingligan season finale. I'm Tony Trapasso. He is Corey Bodnott. Welcome. As stage one done and dusted. And this time, everybody took tires. So the guys... Yeah, I gotta say, the guys that took fuel only under that first reflag stop, they might be in the catbird seat as we get ready to turn them back loose here and race this piece out. What do you say, Corey?
Yeah, I do believe we're going to see a lot of tight racing here, closing into the last 155 laps around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Should be pretty good. Jonas and Michael, they're going to be leading this 22 car field, 22 cars on the lead lap to the green flag.
Pace truck is in. Gunnarsson has the button. Here we go. Into the Geico restart zone they come. Looks like the 37 of Ericsson was trying to anticipate. He does get a decent getaway. As Gunnarsson pulled the trigger, and Ericsson right there is Michael Hafliedson on the top side is in trouble.
The outside lane not quite as good off the jump, but look at this. They're now single file, top 4, top 5 all single file, and all the way back to about 10th. You see the first car searching for the outside. That was Robert Earling on the exit of 4. Not quite going to stay up there, and just got to be patient. Still a long race to go.
Another guy we haven't talked a lot about for Bright Esports picked last is Daniel Homer in the 79. No longer running the tetanus special, as he called it, but legitimate paint scheme on that car tonight for a race car season finale. As we've got some battling going on here just outside the top 5. That is an angry pack of wolves.
Oh, look at that. It's all packed up right there, all top 9. Right bumper to bumper. If someone were to sneeze, it would be chaotic. Look at this. Vilda Whalen up on the top shelf. She'll move up almost 5 spots there. Wow. 3 spots at least.
That team guy at 29 has been quick all season long. It's just the luck has not gone her or Emily Fagrell's way. they both have gotten caught up in other people's dumpster fires, and the finishes haven't been there because of it. And congratulations to Emily Fagrell back in 20th. I believe, if I heard correctly, had rotator cuff surgery or something along those lines earlier in the season, missed a handful of races, but she's able to make it here to the season finale.
Absolutely running top 20 in this race, doing an outstanding job there. You see this pack though, that's the outcome of having a caution, is it bunches the field back up, at least for the moment.
Volvo, Chevy, Audi, Chevy, and Chevy rounding out your top 5 as we currently sit.
Look at this, new leader, Vilda Whalen up to the lead. Just got to wonder, though, running that high side, is it burning off her tires, or now that she's out front, will she be able to save them?
Well, they're running that outside lane. It doesn't punish the right front as much as it does the right rear, because they don't expect you to have to G-load the rear tire quite as much usually. So when you do run that top side and you're able to let it just hang out, that right rear tire it pays the price. As here comes the 82 of Erling on Gunnarsson.
Wow, power move on the outside. Move Erling up to second now. Jonas Gunnarsson in third.
And Jasper Eriksson right there as well.
The first one. Okay, go.
I was going to say, Jasper Eriksson right there as well. Eric Blix, Andre Salander, Linus Brostrom, Peter Helmbro, Dan Solo, your top 10. As we've got some battles heating up here for 7th. As that Salander and Brostrom going door to door. Brostrom on the low side, Salander on the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Able to keep it wound up and defends quite easily against the 71 of Brostrom.
And look at this, all 5 of your drivers going for a championship here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and roughly 7th. My Lord.
What's the old
It could
saying?
be anyone's.
The cream rises to the top?
Absolutely, and it is shown here. It is anybody's championship battle at Charlotte. I mean, still a long race to go still, but just because you're out in the front of the 4 that you need to beat does not mean they aren't already right there ready to pounce if you were to make a mistake.
You are absolutely correct. As looks like the 12 of Hagman starting to drop back just a little bit. Now, this is one of the first times we've seen Hagman on the same pit strategy. He's almost back. Actually, he's +4 from where he qualified. Linus Brostrom, unfortunately, is -6. As Andre Salander gets by, he is now +12 in the 141.
Look at this, Marcus Hagman up on the high side. He'll make up 3 spots in corner 3 and 4 back at the line. He'll be scored in 6. Wow. The power moves early on, utilizing that outside lane, and look at this. He is going to go for another 2 down here in turn 1 and 2. He gets blocked by Michael Hifledason. Now Hagman will have to look down to the inside of Hifledason down in turn number 3. He'll get the move done. So he'll move up to 4th. Wow.
Has to tiptoe through 3 and 4, though, as that car looked like it wanted to wash up the track. That's what seat time can do for you, though. He felt it coming and had it well spotted. As now he is working on the 33 of Gunnarsson. Robert Erling, his teammate, right there as well. And Marcus just looking to help the team out here tonight. Brought in another spare car that they brought. So up into 12th goes Hagman. Up into 2nd in the 12, +10 for Hagman.
Right now, Hagman is your hard charger. Andre Salander back there flirting with 10-9 on the spots gained since the start of the race. The tiebreaker would go to Marcus Hagman for the most spots gained as of now.
You are correct. But right now, I mean, this is the racing we've come to expect out of these guys and gals. As that is Jonas Gunnarsson and Robert Ehrling going after each other. Linus Broström has gotten by him for third. Ehrling battles back. Oh! That's a fine how do you do. Leaning on each other going into three. That could have ended all sorts of poorly. Luckily, we stay pointed in the right direction and under green flag conditions.
Absolutely good job by all these drivers. Able to stay clean and green. I only had the one caution. That was a guaranteed stage yellow. Have not seen the caution flag fly for any kind of incidents on the track.
It has it that, which again is another thing we've come to expect out of this league. They know how to race hard but cleanly. As checking back in just outside the top 10, it's Daniel Homer, Eric Lundberg, and looks like Philip Bjork all right there.
Ellie Fagril up a couple of spots now, up 5 from where she started this race. Lurking right there behind the Eric Lundberg and Philip York machines. It's a good close racing still. Your top two, they have pulled away. Vilda Whalen and Marcus Hagman, they are about, give or take, less than 1 second, 9/10 to about a second, give or take.
They are at that as Broström, Ehrling, and Gunnarsson all going after each other. As Gunnarsson gets clear of Broström, now sets his sights on Ehrling for third.
Woo! It looks like Gunnarsson got a little bit tight there, had to get out of the throttle so he didn't smack through, left through a quarter panel of Ehrling coming out of turn number 2. You see that 33 car, it is getting loose now out of turn number 4, but it's tight down in 1 and 2, and he's got to be cautious because, you know, he can't win that championship if he wrecks his car out.
Exactly, and that's one thing he's really got to be careful of, is not wadding that piece, because I don't believe there are fast repairs tonight.
No, there is no fast repairs here in this league tonight, at least. So Jonas flirting with disaster right there for sure.
They are at that, as this battle for the lead is still hot and heavy as Hagman makes his bid for the top spot. Whalen hanging tough though on that second lane as Hagman throws the slider on her coming off a 2, but she is right back on him. And even with that battling, they're starting to pull a gap on the 33 of Gunnarsson.
Gunnarsson is actually closing in on these two drivers. So maybe Whalen and Hagman from earlier when they were running up on the high side, burning off that right rear tire, slowing their car up now later on in the run. You got to remember, about 30 laps since they last came in for tires.
It has been about 30 laps, as we did have the rest of that stage caution to help save some fuel, but as we're closing in on 30 laps under these green flag conditions, these guys and gals are going to have to start thinking about pit strategy here.
I was doing a little bit of calculation there. It looks like the ideal is to run 53 laps on a tank of gas. Look at that, 3 wide. Oh my.
if you can wait that long, yeah, that would be the ideal situation. Because Gunnarsson was not to be denied. Made that move stick on the low shelf. As Hagman got trapped up in the third lane, had to worry about the marbles up there and the bump that is the transition off of the banking onto the backstretch. You can see some of these guys getting a little unsettled coming through that area. And finally, Vilda Whalen gets into a safe haven in between Robert Ehrling and Linus Broström.
So if these drivers were to elect to come in 53 laps at a time, that would put them at lap 145 for their next stop, and then they'd go all the way up to 198, and after that they would be good all the way to the end. And that would be the maximizing the amount of laps you can get on a tire without doing too much of a fall off.
And that's really what we're looking at, is negate as many self-inflicted wounds as you can. Because, I mean, you take a look at the pit delta. For foreign fuel, we're seeing anywhere between mid-42s on up to mid-45s, depending on how hard you charge that line. But that's still way more time than anybody wants to spend on pit road.
Absolutely. The less time you can spend on a pit road, the better off you're going to have on the track. You can lose a lot of time in the pits, or you can gain a whole lot. See the battle here. That's for the top three. You have Robert Ehrling in the orange car, Vilda Whalen in the white car, and Linus Broström in the black car there.
And Linus is an unofficial member of Team Gaia, as it's his fiance and his fiance's best friend on that team. But right now, Broström letting him have it, trying to claw his way up into third, drag race down the back straightaway with his teammate. That's Robert Ehrling on the top side.
It's going to make that pass clean and clear. He's going to bring along Jesper Eriksson, who's earlier on in this fuel run not quite up in the pack. He's now finding himself in the top five.
As Ehrling,
Hagman.
Go ahead.
See Hagman there dropping back a couple of spots. He'll drop back to fifth.
Hagman, I got to think, is getting ready to time his run. You know, how long would it take him to get up there and get that pass made?
I'd almost say if somebody's out there racing and listening at the same time, I would go with that strategy of lap 148 and then 145 and then 198. That might be what some of these drivers are thinking as well, even if they're not listening in on my strategy call. But you look at this gaggle of cars. Ehrling holding them up. Michael Haflidason trying to get around on the bottom. And they got the lap car of Bjorn Broström not too far ahead of him.
As right now, a little bit of separation in some areas. As Hagman, Whalen, and Salander continue to just throw bombs at each other. That is your battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Dan Homer starting to dip his foot in that water as well.
Homer now closing in on the big pack. He's the car in the 10th spot, so top 10 right now for Daniel Homer. We are past halfway, 3 laps past. Figure another 2 pit stops under green flag if we can keep it green.
And with that, Corey has just jinxed the entire field. You can send your hate mail to Sim Racing Media, care of attention Corey Bodnott, Winchester, West by God, Virginia, P.O. Box OU 812. Erickson and Hefliedison still putting on a show here. They've caught second place Linus Brostrom as Jonas Gunnarsson made quick work of the 71 of the senior Brostrom, the 41 of the senior of the 2 Brostroms.
Bjorn being scored 2 laps down there. Maybe looking to try to get one of his 2 laps back under green and hope for that caution flag to fly, but that car a little bit tight for Bjorn.
As can happen, especially later in a run. You know, surprised we haven't seen more cars starting to get tight, being as they were last down pit road. Most of them were last down pit road anywhere on 92, as we're working lap 131, so we're about to put 40 on this set of tires.
Absolutely, I expect them to start looking for pit stops within the next 13 or so laps. But Jonas Gunnarsson being out front where he is about 0.7 of a second ahead of second place Linus Brostrom, he can kind of play it out and maybe start saving a little bit of fuel, stretch that fuel load a little further, stretch his tires a little further. He does let Bjorn Brostrom back out in front. They'll allow him to be 1 lap down in case there is a caution. He'll be able to get the lucky dog, get back on the lead lap.
And that's really what it comes down to, is you've got to be in it to win it. You still have to be on the lead lap when whatever happens at the end of this race happens, to even have a hope and a prayer at a shot at this thing. Checking back in here, just outside the top 5, that's Vilda Whalen and Robert Ehrling going after each other, like 2 kids in the back seat of a minivan on the summer break.
Those 2, they're still side by side in turn 1 and 2. You got Andre Solander right behind him, just playing it out. It's like a wolf trying to stalk its prey.
That's the politest way I've ever heard that put. So Gunnarsson, Brostrom, Erickson, Hefliedson, Blixt, Whalen, Ehrling. Salander making a move now on Ehrling. And the 79, a homer right there as well. And then you are quite a distance back, almost 4.5 seconds, to that trio of 4 Z Sports cars, in the point of Marcus Hagman, Oscar Fredrickson, and Peter Helmbro.
All 3 of those cars rocking the same orange and black paint scheme. You see Oscar Fredrickson, he's going to make his way around Marcus Hagman. That's for the 10th spot, so move Oscar up into your top 10. But, you know, looking at this field, you got all your top 5 cars are the 5 that's fighting for a championship. Can't get any closer than that, can you?
With the exception of Daniel Homer. So Michael Hefliedison, Jasper Eriksson, Linus Brostrom, Eric Blix, and Jonas Gunnarsson are the ones that do have it. And I have no idea why Daniel Homer is showing up that way.
What way?
Well, I'm showing him as still with blue on his car. Or blue, blue on the timing and scoring system. His name should not appear in blue.
I'm not sure that would be on your end.
I thought I changed it, and apparently
I see him and Cylinder in blue on the scoring
that's
tower.
what I mean. Is Homer is not in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Phil is starting to get a little bit strung out, as we are 110 laps to go in this piece. Gunnarsson, Brostrom, Eriksson, Haflidason, Blix, Whalen, Cylinder, Homer. Daniel Homer in 8th, Oscar Fredrickson in 9th, and Robert Earling rounding out your current top 10. And with that, we are going to step away, pay a couple bills, wash my mouth out with soap, and we'll be back right after this.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
And we are back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the oval portion of this race, not to be confused with the Charlotte Roval, although we did see that this season. Just past the halfway mark in this race, a little bit past the halfway mark, working lap 152, getting ready to put 152 in the books relatively shortly here. As right now, Peter Helmbrow and Dan Solo, the only two that have not come pit side for, Corey, if my poor math skills are any indication, what we're witnessing right now could be the money stop. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah, they would have one more.
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking we were going 200 laps for some reason. It is right now.
This race is 250, so here we go. Peter Helmbrow coming in. Daniel Solo, the last two to make their pit stop. It'll be on lap 153 for these drivers. Cycle Linus Brostrom out to the lead, who currently has about a 1.5 second gap over Michael Haflidason.
And there you see Haflidason in the Audi right behind him. About half the distance of the back straightaway is the gap from Brostrom to Haflidason. Haflidason, though, has to worry about the 95 of Eric Blix, as he is right there, very hungry and within striking distance, as Brostrom takes over the lead. As Helmbrow and Solo continue to backslide, they may have kept it out there just a little too long.
Just maybe, right now with everybody coming in between 147 to that 153, you could really divide this race up into a couple different ways. You could go in 51 laps in, then the second run be 52 to the end, or you go 50 and 53, or really anything. There's all sorts of possibilities that you can do for the final run to the final pit stop.
The good news is if you take a look at what those two guys were able to get out of those tanks at Go Fast, they're quite sizable as far as laps go. With Solo coming in on 153, compare that to the stage caution back on lap 90. That's impressive. So next round of pit stops we should see just after the 200 lap mark.
Yeah, you can definitely push the fuel all the way up to 200, or maybe around like 208, 207.
Yeah, that way you don't have to come down should we have to go into overtime, which we have done numerous times this season already, so it's nothing new. 3 attempts at overtime should we need it. Because right now, Linus Brostrom looking to win the battle and the war at the same time. Currently leads by 1.5 seconds over that battle for second between Haflidason and Blix.
Still all 5 of your championship contenders in the top 5 on the racetrack. Linus, obviously the one looking good out of them. 1.8 seconds ahead of second place Michael Haflidason. He has pulled away a little bit from a couple laps ago. He was 1.5 seconds ahead. Eric Blix, he's closed in on the back end of Michael Haflidason. That's what Linus wants to see, is 2 of these drivers start going at it.
Oh, absolutely. If you can get everybody else starting to fight with each other, just in the couple of laps that Blix has been applying even just a little bit of pressure to Haflidason, the gap from Hepweedson to Brostrom has grown to just over 2 seconds now.
Just about 2 seconds. The gap now. Eric Blick's a little bit falling off there now after he got to the back bumper. The dirty air affecting that automobile. Still all 22 cars on the lead lap, though, so impressive job by all these drivers staying on the lead lap.
I just noticed that. Yeah, that's yeoman's work right there. But that's going to get shaken up here, especially when Bjorn Brostrom, who was last down pit road on lap 122, is going to he's going to have to come in for fuel 20 to 25 laps sooner than anybody else.
Yeah, definitely. Bjorn Brostrom a little bit on the short pit, trying to keep the lead lap. And look at this, Jonas Skoglund coming in.
Interesting.
I mean, well, okay. He still has to come in one more time after this. He'll be looking for a caution late in there going. Help out the driver in 83 machine.
And he's putting tires on. I don't like this call at all, because they basically gave everybody, oh, he's got damage repair going on. Okay. I was going to say, they gave everybody a set of tires to get them through this. For each fuel run that you're going to have to make, or fuel stop you're going to have to make, they give everybody one set of tires. And, with Skoglund having to come down pit road this early, and he's putting what I believe are his last set of tires on, he could be in trouble later in this thing.
No, I think they do have 2 sets of tires apiece for every driver, except for Marcus. Marcus Hagman's on the same tire, so everybody still has 2 sets of tires. They'll use them up here on the next pit stop if it's under green around the lap 200 mark, and then if there is a green-white checkered later on in the race, everybody should have one more set sitting down there waiting for them. Closing in here on the end of this race. Good season for these drivers. Swedish eRacing. Svenska, as they call it.
Yeah, that is the Svenska eRacingligan season finale here at Charlotte. The Nyman Racing 600, which with us only doing 250 laps, I got to assume that that's kilometers.
Wow. That thought never crossed my mind. Let me do some calculations here and figure out miles to kilometer.
They can tell you at Planet Fitness how fast you can run.
$375 miles, right? A little bit above 600 kilometers. It would be 603 kilometers. So yeah.
If we get an overtime thrown in, it'll be okay. But right now we're watching this battle for 6th between Dan Homer and Andre Zalander. And that's what type of closing speed these cars are having. Only about 3 mile an hour difference between the two.
Andre there on the inside of Daniel Homer. That's for the 6th position. Solander, he'll get around Homer. Set his sights on Jesper Eriksson. Try to split up your 5 championship drivers. Everybody's spread out nice and clean. Bleedison, he's been closing in on Linus Broström. He's now dropped that gap. It was 2 seconds earlier. He's dropped it all the way to a little over 1 second. About 1 to 1/10 second here for Michael Fleetison to make up on your race leader and for the championship battle. Maybe about another 30 or so laps until we see the final all-important green flag pit stop. Looking at maybe around 198 to 205, 208 even for the longer runners. Bleedison now under pressure from behind. That is Eric Blixt. That's another Alcantech driver. So the Alcantech drivers trying to work with each other, draft up to your race leader. Got the Audi and the Volvo. The other Alcantech driver in a Volvo, Jonas Gunnarsson, not too far behind, just about 2 seconds back from Michael Hofledison. That's Jonas Gunnarsson. Have a Forza Esport driver, that's Jesper Eriksson running in the 5th position. He's trying to see if he can make up any time on your 4 race leaders. Lap 175 in the books. We got 75 laps to go here. And a good clean race all day. Only 1 caution. That was a guaranteed yellow at our stage break back on lap 90. Have not seen a caution yet for an incident on the track. Everybody's spread out for the most part. I mean, yeah, everybody's fairly spread out. Maybe the closest on track, that would be for the 19th spot, Philip York and Haflidi Johansson. Still 20 cars on the lead lap. You have Jonas Skuglin sitting down in the pit road, 14 laps down at the moment. Bjorn Broström 1 lap down in the 21st position. Everybody's just biding their time. You see Linus Broström, he is now on the same straightaway as a couple of lap cars ahead of him. The first victim is potentially going to be Philip York, his 044 car. Linus just clocking off the laps. Lap 180 now. You can feel the air off the back end of Philip York. Try to put him a lap down, but Michael Hafliedison, he's now cut that gap down to under half a second. It is officially going to be a little over 3/10 at the line. And you see Philip York up into the outside retaining wall down to turn number 1. He'll be put a lap down as that car hurt it all. Not a whole lot of damage on the right side of that automobile. Definitely the handling on away here late in the running under this green flag run. Eric Blixt, he is closed in now. He's 1.2 seconds back from race leader Linus Brostrom. Linus, he'll have a couple of lap cars to deal with. And maybe in a couple of laps here. First victim, that's going to be Hafliede Johansson and Emil Fagril. Will that allow for Michael Hafliedison to catch on up? He's now closed the gap into exactly 3/10 that time by. See Hafliedison getting a little bit loose, definitely pushing the limits of that race car around this 1.5 mile track. Trying to get all he can out of it. Race leader Linus, he is caught up to the lap car. He'll put Hafliede Johansson 1 lap down. They'll put now 18 cars on the lead lap. Got Emil Fagril right in front of him. She's having a strong race here in 18th. She'll pull over, let your race leader on by nice and clean. And Michael Hafliedison still there, lost a little bit of time with the lap cars. Now back to a half a second gap to your race leader. Eric Blixt allowing him to catch up. He's caught the lap cars in good spots on this racetrack. He is closing in. He is now 1 second behind race leader. Lap 185 clocked in here at Charlotte. Your next lap car that's going to be the victim is Eric Lundberg. He is 24 seconds behind Linus. Linus, he is in turn 3. Eric at the start-finish line. So a long ways to go before we catch up to more lap traffic, and by that time we'll be looking at a pit stop. So I wouldn't count on having any lap traffic to help out Michael Hafliedison close the gap in, and he'll have to do it all under his own power. Jonas Gunnarsson catching up to the back end of Eric Blixt now. This is what these drivers need. They need to close in the gap, try to be as close as they can up at the front for when they do elect to come down the pit road. Closer you are, the better off you can be coming out of pit road. It will be the money stop. You see Jonas Gunnarsson. He'll look on the inside down in turn number 3 of Eric Blixt. He'll make that pass. He'll look smooth and good. A little bit of sideways action right there out of Jonas, but he's all good. So still your top 5. Linus Broström, Michael Hufleidsen, Jonas Gunnarsson, Eric Blix, and Jesper Eriksson. All 5 of those drivers looking to earn a championship here at the end of this race. You have Andre Solander, Oscar Fredriksson, Daniel Homer, Daniel Solo, and Vilda Whalen, your top 10. Top 5 have all put on a 5-second gap or more over your 6th place runner, Andre Solander. You see Jesper Eriksson going on the outside. He'll pass up Eric Blix. That's for the 4th spot, so you move Jesper. He is on the move. Oh, and a little tight action out there out of the number 95 car of Eric Blix. Had to get out of the throttle so he didn't hit the left rear quarter panel of Jesper Eriksson. Nobody's been able to really close in the gap to your race leader, though. That's Linus Broström. Still looking strong. 1.3 seconds is the gap for him. Closest battles are for your 2nd spot. Jonas Gunnarsson, Michael Hufleidsen, Jesper Eriksson. They've pulled away a little bit from Eric Blix now. Get an update here on the lap time when they cross the line. See which one of these 5 drivers are running the quickest. You see Jesper a little bit sideways coming out of that corner. And it looks like it is still going to be Jesper Eriksson, the quickest of the 5 cars in the top 5. 31.11. Jonas Gunnarsson ran a 31.16. He's the 2nd quickest, and he's showing it. He's up to 2nd place now, and now look at this. Michael Hufleidsen under pressure. Jesper Eriksson up on the top shelf. He will move up into the top 3. Taker for the pit stop. Looks like Eric Lundberg is elected to come in, and Vilda Whalen coming in. We're going to keep the cameras glued onto your battle. That is for 2nd place. Jonas Gunnarsson right there in front. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact, a little smooch there out of Jesper Eriksson on the back bumper. Jesper on the inside making a hard move. He'll move up to 2nd place. Jonas Gunnarsson will move back into the 3rd spot. Michael Hufleidsen lost a little bit of ground there, but Eric Blix has been able to close back in once again. Look at this. Eric Blix, Michael Hufleidsen, Jesper Eriksson, and your race leader Linus Broström. All 4 of those drivers, they're going to elect to come in lap 197. Going to take over to lap 198 when they past the start-finish line scoring loop. So that'll leave Jonas Gunnarsson. He's the lone wolf out on the racetrack. When does he elect to come down pit road? It looks like your top 6, Jonas Gunnarsson, Andre Solander, Oscar Fredriksson, Daniel Homer, Daniel Solo, and Peter Helmbro have not came in, as well as Marcus Hagman, Kenneth Tier. There we go. You see Jonas Gunnarsson now coming down pit road. Going to be lap 199 when he reaches the scoring loop at the start-finish line. Remember, he qualified on the pole here tonight, so he's got the long march all the way down to his pit box. This is where mistakes can be made, and he is in nice and squared up with that pit box. He will get put up on the jack on the right side. Now, though, move on around to the left side, put that car up on the jack, and He'll get all 4 tires and fuel in that automobile, and away he goes. So smooth stop for Jonas Gunnarsson. Total time of 42.63 on pit road. But unfortunately for Jonas Gunnarsson, Linus Broström, Michael Fleetison, Jesper Eriksson, and Eric Blix all out, but caution. Oh my. Oh my. This is going to change things up. We did officially have 7 scored on the lead lap, Linus being one of those cars on the lead lap. We'll find out who wrecked here. Looks like maybe Robert Earling has brought out our first incident caution. Get the replay up for you folks out there. This Earling bringing out this caution here. We did have 7 cars on the lead lap. A lot of those drivers just coming in. They'll elect to stay out. And we're going to help out Linus Broström. Being the lucky man that is going to be able to take over the lead once again. So lap 202 here, under 50 to go for the Svenska eRacing League here on iRacing. Championship up for grab. Usually it's the final 4, but in this league it is the final 5. Currently the man that is looking for the championship, that is Linus Broström. He is the furthest of the 5 contenders. Hold on, folks. I know you're looking at a car on the pit road. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the cameras. I will continue to do the radio style broadcast as we figure out our technical difficulties with the camera. Currently looking at Emil Pergrell on pit road. So once we figure out our camera situation here with Tony Trapasso, I'm sure he's still awake over there. Tony, you awake? All right, well, we're going to go to the radio style broadcast for the time being. You're looking at Milford Grill on the pit road, but we're going back green at least until we figure out the camera situation. Linus Brostrom out front, your race leader. He's leading over Peter Helmbro, Daniel Solo, Marcus Hagman, Kenneth Tier, your top 5. Have Yekin Yacht in 6, Oscar Fredriksson riding there. Jesper Eriksson trying to get up through the field once again. He'll be riding in the 9th position. Michael Haflidason trying to catch up to your race leader, Linus Brostrom. Not a whole lot of time to get things done. Got a battle for the lead happening on the racetrack down in turn number 1. It is Daniel Solo on the outside, Linus Brostrom. Daniel Solo now moves up to the race lead. Here comes Marcus Hagman working on the outside of Peter Helmbro. Hagman has to get out of the throttle for Linus Brostrom. Now look here, Michael Haflidason working his way up through the field. He's now being scored in the 3rd spot. So one more car he has to pass and he'll be in the best position for the championship. Daniel Solo just trying to get one last win on the season. Remember, Daniel Solo, you eliminated out of the round of 10 drivers. That were ran out Auto Club in Dover. Michael Haflidason trying to go back-to-back wins. He won back at Dover. He's trying to win here at the 1.5 mile of Charlotte. A little bit longer of a track and a lot different shape. Daniel Solo, he's pulled away a little bit of a gap back to Linus Brostrom, almost to a 3/10 gap. Haflidason all over the back end of Linus. Haflidason has Marcus Hagman up on the top shelf, trying to work his way around. We've seen Hagman earlier on in this race be strong, and they are 3 wide. Haflidason a little bit down into the turf grass. He's on the inside of Linus Brostrom, Marcus Hagman. Hagman will back out of the 3 wide battle. It is a drag race down the back straightaway. Linus Brostrom edging out ahead of Michael Haflidason down in turn number 3. He'll put the block down on the inside of Michael Haflidason. Haflidason maybe a little bit of contact, not too pleased with how Linus put the block down. Now Haflidason up ahead of Linus Brostrom. He has moved into your second running spot on the track. He is the highest of the 5 contenders. Still out front, Daniel Solo in the number 13, trying to pick up another win on the season. Michael Haflidason trying to go back-to-back weeks here. He won back at Dover. He's trying to pick up the win here at Charlotte. While doing so, he's trying to pick up that all-important championship. Lap number 215 in the books. So 35 laps remain around this 1.5 mile iconic oval on the east coast of the United States here in Concord, North Carolina, the home of NASCAR. We have a new battle forming up. Linus Brostrom on the outside of Michael Haflidason. Linus trying to utilize that outside momentum. He'll edge out ahead down in turn number 3, but Michael Haflidason strong back on the bottom. He'll clear. Linus out of turn number 4, puts a slide job on him. Oh my, what a race. Two drivers, they've caught up to Daniel Solo. Daniel Solo, he's riding the top shelf, running the Kyle Larson line. Now Linus Brostrom back up to second. He'll move into second. He'll move into the championship lead. So good battle. Good battle for second. Battle for the championship contending position. Not too far behind him, you got Jesper Eriksson. Jesper Eriksson, he is running pretty quick lap times. He's running a 15.21 the last time around. A little bit slower than maybe Linus, but he is behind Michael Haflidason right now. And Marcus Hagman not too far behind them. Peter Hellenbroek, Kenneth Tier, Eric Blix, Jonas Gunnarsson, and Andre Solander and Daniel Homer going at it for 10th. Single file all the way throughout your top 9, the first 2x2 battle. That is Homer and Solander, but up at the front, we got a change for the lead occurring. Linus Brostrom trying to look on the inside of Daniel Solo, not going to be able to get it done. Coming on turn number 2. Linus Brostrom, the momentum not able to be there to get by Daniel Solo. He'll fall back a couple car lengths. Now Michael Haflidason right on the back bumper. Linus Brostrom almost gave the bumper to Daniel Solo going into turn number 1 here. Michael Haflidason just has to be patient about it. He still 30 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time, but still a good bit of time. Make things happen. The battle for the championship, battle for the race win. Drivers trying to at least get on the podium and finish, get that all-important interview, thank their sponsors out here. Definitely not giving up any kind of room here for Michael Haflidason. He's still on the back bumper of Linus Brostrom. Linus Brostrom, he's backed off the back bumper of Daniel Solo. Now down in turn number 1. Will he look to the inside? No, he won't. He will stay tucked up behind your race leader, Daniel Solo. Daniel Solo now able to put about a 3-car length gap. And here comes Jesper Eriksson looking on the inside of Michael Haflidason. Battle for third is on. Jesper Eriksson attempting to make the pass here for top 3. Not gonna have the momentum. Haflidason on the outside. Maybe thought about going around the outside of your championship leader there. That's Linus Brostrom. And here we go. Turn number 1. We're going to go on the outside for Michael Haflidason. Linus Brostrom stuck on the bottom side. Haflidason edging out, but he's got the race leader, Daniel Solo, right in his racing tracks. Let's see, lap 224 this time by. It's a good battle right now. Your championship leader, that is Michael Haflidason, but not by much. It is a drag race to the line. Lap 225 officially clocked in, and it was officially Haflidason ahead in second place right there. Daniel Solo now has about a 3/10 gap to the battle. That is for the championship. And here comes Jesper Eriksson once again, looking on the inside of Michael Haflidason. Maybe Haflidason has burned off those race tires on that 81 car, utilizing that outside lane. Here comes Jesper Eriksson on the inside of Haflidason. He has to get out of it. Haflidason gonna pinch Jesper down low all the way to the white line. Right behind them, Marcus Hagman. He's closed in on the battle. Here comes Peter Helmbro as well. Jesper Eriksson now trying to get around Michael Haflidason. He's got the gap to make it clear. He now moves up to the third spot. He's going to look for that championship lead over Linus Broström. Jesper Eriksson trying to win tonight here at Charlotte. Linus Broström trying to go for 2 championships here in this league. He won the championship back in season 1, trying to go for his second championship. The other driver, Eric Blixt, has 2. He's riding in the 7th spot. If something more to occur, though, in front of these drivers, Eric Blixt might be in the catbird seat. Now Michael Haflidason on the inside of Jesper Eriksson, putting the pressure down. Lap 230 scored. 20 to go. Next time by. These drivers are not giving up inches or feet or anything. Oh, we might have a caution. We do. Oh, and Fleety Johansson hard into the side of Philip York. So caution number 3 here on the racetrack. Step away, give my little voice a rest, and I'll catch back up after this, about right before we go green. I'll try to get a hold of Tony and get the camera situation figured out.
17 laps to go in this one.
Oh, hey, there he is. Tony's made his way back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm feeling under the weather, and
I've been doing a radio style commentary for him.
appreciate that.
As long as you can control the cameras, we can.
I can do
got
this.
it here.
I can do that. I'm trying to keep what little is still left inside down and on the inside.
Okay, we did not need to hear that, but there we go. So we're coming back from our caution. The lights are off on the iRacing pace truck. Jonas Gunnarsson gonna be your race leader over Eric Blix. Remember those two drivers, they are trying to vie for a championship here in the Svenska eRacing League. Hopefully one last time. It's been a good battle. Sorry that you race fans have not been able to see it, but here we are back on the camera. We are set to go back green. Here we go. Jonas Gunnarsson on the loud pedal. He gets a good launch from Eric Blix. Eric Blix stuck up on the high side on the outside of Daniel Solo. Jonas Gunnarsson a little bit out ahead of those two drivers. Here come Linus Broström. He's going to try to look, going to push Eric Blix down the backstretch into turn number 3. He'll look on the outside now.
Broström looking on the high line as Michael Lefledeson going to follow him through. Dan Solo down on the low side is the only, Broström, the only non-Alcantech car in the top 5 right now. But here comes the cavalry in the form of the 37 of Jesper Eriksson.
Absolutely, your 5 championship contenders. And look at that contact between Jesper and Lefledeson. Oh my. Had to get out of the throttle for Jesper to not cause a wreck there. Lefledeson with the slider over Daniel Solo. So 4 of your 5 championship contenders all up at the front. Anybody's game still.
And as here comes Eriksson to the backside, back to the inside of Solo. Down the back straightaway they come. This is your closest battle on track currently, as we are 14 to go. Gunnarsson continuing to show the way. No real pressure from Eric Blix behind him, as Blix has his hands full of Linus Broström. Michael Lefledeson right there as well, within striking distance, as Dan Solo holds down that final step of the top 10. But we got some battling going on just outside of the top 10. This could get very ugly very quickly. It's the 101 of Hawk and Wet under heavy pressure right now.
Definitely a good battle back there among the 11 back to about the 15th spot. Jockeying for positions here in the closing laps of this race. 16 cars still on the lead lap, and look at that, 4 wide, oh my. And Lundberg, he's gonna squeeze it. Kenneth Tier up in the wall. Somehow, they did not wreck.
Well, how about that?
Look at this, almost a 3-wide battle. It is almost thinking about it. Lefledeson, oh, Eric Blix pushes Linus Broström up in front of Lefledeson. You know, the driver that likes this battle going on behind him, that is Jonas Gunnarsson, because he's like, come on, boys, you keep on wrecking back there. I'll take away this championship.
Well, Gunnarsson has been one of the strongest cars all season long. I'll tell you right now, the top 5, they're, I had our top 10 picked after the 3rd race of the season. And I was right.
I always thought at least Jesper would be in the 5. Maybe Michael. From the very few races I watched.
those Alcantech cars have been amazingly strong all season. So I can absolutely understand that that mindset. 9 to go as we're watching this battle for second, third, and fourth. Linus Broström has it. Michael Haflidason wants it. Eric Blix wants to get his nose up in there as well.
Still anybody's game.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But the longer these guys wait, the stronger Gunnarsson is going to get. As Jonas Gunnarsson just barely able to squeak in last week. Does have a win and a pole on the season. Looking to pick up where he left off last week right now as Broström and Haflidason trying to reel him in. They have done so. It's just catching someone is one thing. Passing them cleanly, that's a completely different ball of wax. As these guys are trying to get it figured out here relatively quickly.
Absolutely, you can catch up to the guy, but getting around him is a whole nother animal. Look at this, Michael Haflidason on the inside of Linus Broström. Oh, man, some contact right there. Somehow not going to be pushed all the way up to the wall. Linus Broström able to hang in. Look at this, Eric Blix, now the other Alcantech car, trying to work his way around. They're trying to get all 3 Alcantech cars on the podium.
That would be something if they could get 3 Alcantech cars to finish 1, 2, 3. But Linus Broström, this is his final race with Forza Esports before he joins the Alcantech crew. So technically, it's an Alcantech shutout of the top 4 spots. Just one of them is officially racing for Forza Esports tonight.
Trying to send off his final race here for Forza Esport on a strong note. He is battling up on that high side using the Kyle Larson line. He scrapes the wall a little bit coming out of turn number 4. 4 laps to go for your race leader, Jonas Gunnarsson. It is still heated for a second, though. Haflidason trying his hardest to get scored in that second spot. Maybe a little bit of loosey-goosey right there out of turn number 2 allows Linus to now pull away by about a half car length.
About a half a car length separation between Broström and Haflidason. Eric Blix right there as well. Throw a blanket over your top 5 as Jesper Eriksson is just far enough back that should something pop off, he's able to take evasive action to get around those guys. Those guys. Dan Solo, almost 3/4 of a second back off this grouping. Meanwhile, Jonas Gunnarsson, your race leaders, we are 3 to go, coming 2 popsicle sticks this time by. 2 to go here at Charlotte. 3 miles. That's all we've got to decide this one left.
Absolutely. Linus has pulled away now from Michael Haflidason. And look at this. Jesper Eriksson trying. He'll have a corner and a lap left to try to get up to a podium finish. Can he do it? Coming out of turn number 4, we'll see the white flag for Jonas Gunnarsson. He's well out in front unless he makes a drastic mistake. Chalk him up as your race winner and championship driver.
White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkers. And Jonas Gunnarsson now out to a 6/10 of a second lead. Now almost 7/10 of a second over this grouping behind him. Linus Broström sits in second through 3 and 4 for the final time. Kilroy, bring us home.
Oh my!
Oh my!
Jonas Gunnarsson was going to pick up the win. Linus Broström second, and Jesper Eriksson able to sneak by the wrecking of teammates there for third, and that is going to drop Michael Haflidason all the way to a 10th spot, and Eric Blix, he'll officially score in the 16th. So from a top 5. Outside of the top 10 or right on the top 10 for those 2 drivers.
Now keep your eye on Those two Alcantech cars right in front of the white and orange 37. They're going to lean on each other here, leaning some more, beating and banging. 3-wide situation. Oi! It looks like Ericsson may have given the 95 the old Spanish Archer and, just stuck his nose in there and was hoping for the best.
The best came out.
And absolutely did, but how about that man right there, Jonas Gunnarsson? Let's see if we can find
your word in here. If you're top 3 in your championship, that will go to Jonas Gunnarsson.
Well, unfortunately, none of the Alcantech cars are in the live chat or in the Discord server right now. So let's do this in reverse order, shall we? As
well.
Joining us first is going to be, I believe you've got our third place finisher with you now.
I do indeed. Jesper Eriksson, you got a copy on me?
I sure do, my man.
Well, man, maybe a little bit of luck there on the last corner. You were able to sneak around the teammates that were wrecking each other. Just talk us through that.
Oh man, I just want to get a run as fast as I possibly could onto the backstretch, and I got close. Noticed that Michael was gonna get a bit loose into the wall, and Eric was gonna go on the inside, which it did. They drove each other up the track, and then I actually made contact with Eric coming out of 4, which turned him up right into Michael. So, kind of not my third place, but I'm still happy as heck to just be in the final and have such an awesome race for you guys to watch.
Oh, absolutely. You did an outstanding job out there to bring her home in a podium in the race and in the championship battle. You got anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
One again?
What?
One more time? I didn't hear what you said.
Well, man, you did an outstanding job to get podium in both the championship battle and this race. You got anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Of course, the whole team just working together. We had such a good communication throughout the whole season, and especially this race. We pretty much just talked, and all the sponsors that sponsor us, and special thanks to Linus for this entire season and for organizing it and for being the final race with us as he's moving to another team for next season. So just huge thanks to him. He's taught me a lot, and he's why I'm here tonight. So much thanks to him and just everyone around this organization, and you guys, of course, for streaming it.
All right, there you have, folks. That's your third place driver, Jesper Eriksson.
And joining me now is going to be, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Joining me now is the driver of the aforementioned number 71 that is going to be jumping ship at the conclusion of tonight's broadcast. Linus Broström, way to go out with a bang here for your last race for Z Sports.
Well, could have been one step better, but yeah, I mean, Jonas has had a very good season, so congratulations to him on the championship. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely felt like I had the best long run pace today, so had it gone green, I am 95% sure I would have won this thing. Had it gone green without the last caution, I think I probably could have got it as well. But my short run pace hasn't been the best, and I'm just happy I was able to come out second. I did not think that the 2 tires was going to work for those guys, though, but it did. But, I mean, we had a heck of a race to finish out the season, side by side, banging doors. You can't really ask for much more than that. And as a league organizer, I have been dreading this race for 2 whole months, I can tell you that. Especially what has been going on in terms of penalties and stuff over the last few weeks. So yeah, I'm just happy that it's over, to be honest. But a great season overall. Ended up with 2 wins, Daytona and my favorite track, and the team has had a great season. And we end up with all 5 of us would have been worthy winners. But again, huge congratulations to Jonas on the championship.
Well, Linus, congratulations on a successful season all around. As you are, let's face it, you're the head of this league. Who else do you need to thank that helped you get through this season?
Well, of course, Jonas Skoglund, my co-organizer, and then my dad, Björn Broström, who's doing all the finances and the stuff behind the scene. Andreas Lander, our great, head of, he's the head of the whole marshals thing with all the protests and everything. All our judges, let me just check here so I don't forget anybody. We have Anton Öhman, Erik Lundberg, Vilda Wallin, Stefan Lagerstedt, and Niklas Falk from the Swedish Motorsports Federation as well is in there helping out. And then obviously me and Jonas and Marcus Hagman as well. And then we have all the sponsors for the league to thank. There are just so many. Hårdlinjen in Timrå, who sponsored the first race as well. We have Mabi Hyrbilar, AMRT, who is sponsoring the prize for the winner, the triple screen stand. So check out amrt.se if you're looking for stuff like that. We have Aria 88 Solutions, who's doing prints on shirts and cars and everything. Time Attack, Nu.se, who are doing time attack events all over Sweden, and then obviously Virtual Grand Prix and the Swedish Motorsports Federation, and then all our race sponsor. And Nyman Racing has sponsored the race today. The guys over at Plus 46 who own the whole thing, and you guys for putting on the broadcast for us, and my cat for not jumping over the fence like she tried to do 3 times, because that would have ruined the whole race for me. And then, of course, Jonas Force and the whole Force Esports team for these incredible 3 years.
And you still forgot the most important person.
My fiance.
There you go. You always got to remember your fiance.
There we go.
All right, Linus Broström, congratulations on the podium. Congratulations on a successful season. Hopefully we will see you here as the next season gets ready to fire off.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
And joining Corey now, Corey, I believe you've got the man of the hour with you right now.
Absolutely. Hey, Jonas, you got a copy on me?
Yeah.
Well, man, race winner, you set the pole, and you're also taking away the championship here at the end of this season. Just talk us through that race. Talk us through your entire season, how you were able to accomplish this.
Yeah, I'm so happy right now. But this race, first stint, P1 maybe all the time almost. Second stint the same. And when the yellow came out, the last one, I was like, oh no, I'm P11 I think or something. And the second to last yellow. And the last yellow, I was so desperate. I was like, take 2 tires and just gamble. And it worked out.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
I mean, you ran that perfect race. It's so hard to run a perfect race, especially in the modern era of racing, and you're able to do that so good. How do you prepare for something like that?
I mean, ever since the tire update, I haven't really been able to tire save. So I tried to save a little bit in the beginning, but then I was like, I cannot save tires. I'm all in. The rest of the race from now, I've fought off the lap 30 or something. And it worked out today. I'm glad.
Absolutely. Well, either way, man, you were able to take her home. You got anybody you'd like to thank for your outstanding race tonight and your outstanding season on your championship?
Yeah, I want to thank the whole team. The league, the broadcast, and the sponsors, Alkentech.
Nyman Racing, SimLab, Almitech, and yeah, that's it, I think. And the whole team, of course.
There you have, folks. That's your championship driver in the number 33, Jonas Gunnarsson.
Jonas, congratulations. We'll see you next season, bud.
Absolutely.
As we are... Come on. There we go. Your final finishing order tonight and in the championship. Jonas Gunnarsson winning the championship. Linus Broström, Jasper Eriksson rounding out your championship contenders in the top 3. So that's your podium for both the race and the championship. Dan Solo, unfortunately, was not in the championship. He came home in 4th. Peter Helmbro, Dan Holmer, Marcus Hagman, Andre Salander, Bill DeWhalen, and Michael Heflidison rounding out the top half of the field. Corey?
Yeah, Jonas Fors, Oscar Fredriksson, Jacken Wett, Eric Lundberg, Kenneth Tier, and Eric Blix, who unfortunately was wrecked out on the last lap in 16th, and it was to take home 5th in the championship. Then the first car 1 lap down, Bjorn Broström, Robert Earling, Heflidi, Johansson 2 laps down. Out of the race, Philip York, Emil Fagrill, and Jonas Skuglin.
So that is going to do it for us, not only tonight, but for the season, for the Svenska eRacingligan Cup Series. Thank you so much for making us part of your Thursdays. I would like to apologize for everyone. I had a medical treatment earlier today and actually ended up getting sick halfway through the race. I do apologize to the entirety of the league for the shoddy camera work tonight. But Corey, thank you so much for keeping right on top of the race as far as doing a radio call on that. Hopefully we will be able to do better in the next season. Best of luck to all of our drivers tonight. But in the meantime, this is Tony Trapasser, reminding ladies and gentlemen that as you walk down the road of life until we meet again, do me a huge favor. Don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.